Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something different. I'm not inside the house because it's the first day of spring. We have sun. I don't have to wear massive jumpers. Come up here then. Oh, come on. Oh, Poppy wants to get in. I'm going to be doing an honest review of my experience of living in Portugal since 2011. Yes, I've been here for ages. Number one, it has an affordable cost of living. That is true if you're earning money outside of Portugal. So if you're earning money in kind of Northern Europe or the US or Canada, then yes, you're going to have a fabulous life in Portugal. It's going to be fantastic. However, if you're earning money in Portugal and you're paying Portuguese taxes, you're trying to run a business here, it's really hard. The minimum wage is what? 850 now, about 850. When I first came over it was 750, so it's like gone up 100 euros in kind of 15 years, which is ridiculous. And property has doubled or tripled in some places. When I first moved to Lisbon, I could get a 2-bedroom apartment in Alcântara for 475 euros per month. And the agents were calling me, begging me to rent their apartments because no one was in Lisbon. But hey ho, times change, and that's completely the opposite now. So yes, if you earn money outside of Portugal, you are definitely going to have a very nice life here. However, if you're planning to earn money in Portugal, just be aware that life is hard, life is tough. Minimum wage is low. The average wage is what, about 1,200 these days. And like I said, rent is super high, like it is all over Europe. But because we have such low wages here, it makes it affects you a lot more. And food costs are high. Eating at restaurants are lower. Food costs in the supermarket is higher. Have outside wages, you're going to be fine. If you're earning money in Portugal, you might go through phases where you struggle. Portugal has a high quality of life. Yes. It's March and it's Thursday afternoon and I'm sat in my garden. But yeah, I mean, sure, the quality of life is fantastic. There's good points and bad points like everything. Kind of winter is a struggle sometimes. It can really get you down if you haven't kind of insulated your house properly. It's colder inside your house sometimes than it is outside, so it's a bit of a pain, especially when you're renovating, because my house has been cold, absolutely freezing for 2 years now, like proper freezing. So I'll be happy when I've insulated it properly and I've got rid of all my little holes where all that wind is coming in. So I'm looking forward to that. But yes, for sure, life is sweet here during springtime and summer. You can go to the beach, you can go to river beaches, you can go to the Algarve, you can go to Porto, you can go to Lisbon, obviously. You can go to the lake area in the north, and I've forgotten what the name is, so I'll pop it on screen, which is beautiful. I love looking for waterfalls around there. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can drive into northern Spain really quickly. You can drive, if you're in the Algarve, you can drive into southern Spain really quickly. So yeah, I mean, quality of life here is really good for sure. Yes, in some areas, definitely quality of life is amazing. Warm climate. Yes, it does. It has a very warm climate, but not in winter. Like I said before, winters here can be tough. This year, I mean, 2024, we had glorious weather up until kind of the second week in December, and then it took a nosedive. We had some nice days, some nice kind of chilly but blue skies, but then it has rained a lot, which is good because we needed the rain for the reservoirs. So that was a good point. But yeah, winters can be tough, so just keep that in mind. It's not this weather all the time. It does rain. I mean, it does rain and it does flood. If you've been keeping up to date with news, you'll know that this year there's been flooding in the Algarve and there's been flooding in Lisbon. And we've had two earthquakes this year, two or three earthquakes this year, which we haven't had. We had a really big one in Lisbon, but I'm in the north, I didn't feel it. And we've had a couple in the Algarve, I believe. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, like I do every time I go over the 25th of April bridge. I keep that in mind because the epicenter for the worst, for the famous earthquake of Lisbon that destroyed the city was under the 25th of April bridge. So every time I go over, it's like, on my mind. I'm like, please don't let me die. Please don't let me die. Please don't let me die. But I haven't died, so yay. Safety and stability. Yes, Portugal is super safe. I've had my ups and downs here. Unfortunately, I have had to contact the police a couple of times, as I'm a single woman and shit happens to single women. And the police have been really good. I mean, in Lisbon and here, I've had no issue with them whatsoever. I've always felt like super safe, super kind of listened to and respected. So yeah, I mean, for me, the police have been really good. However, I have had friends of multi-ethnic backgrounds that have had a different experience, but I can't speak on that because it's not my experience. So the police always top notch. Safety wise, in Lisbon, I mean, back in the day, I don't live in Lisbon anymore, but I used to go out a lot and I'd be walking around the streets at 3-4 o'clock in the morning and never had any problems. In Lisbon, the first time I got catcalled was, I think, 3 years ago when I first moved over in 2000 and, well, I moved over to the Algarve in 2011 and then I moved to Lisbon in 2013-14, and I never got catcalled. I never had any kind of men show any inappropriate behaviour to me until, 2-3 years ago when I had my first catcall in Lisbon. In the north, I have found that is different. In the north, I get calls from cars, but I mean, compared to the UK, it's nothing what I used to experience growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, that wasn't very pleasant. But yeah, here safety is really good. Just obviously keep your wits about you. Just be aware. Don't come here thinking that it's completely 100% safe, because there are pickpockets in Lisbon. There are opportunists that if they see an easy picking, they will go after that easy picking. So just bearing in mind. But overall, safety. I felt safe in Lisbon. I've felt safe in Portugal 90% of the time that I've been here, and the 10% of the time, it was dealt really well with the police. So yeah, all good. Rich culture and heritage. Yes, Portugal has an amazing rich culture and heritage, and if you want to learn more about that, that's on my other channel, Activities in Portugal, where I dive deep into all things Portuguese and Portugal and give you city guides and all that. So if you want to visit, then the link is in the bio. Travel around Portugal a lot, so I love Portugal. I love the history, I love the architecture. It's stunning, it's beautiful. Food and wine. I don't drink anymore, so I don't drink the wine, but when I did drink, it was very good, especially the green wine. That's my favourite. Green wine is gorgeous. I could just have that all afternoon on a sunny day like this. It's gorgeous. I do love a little tipple of green wine. But yeah, you've got the port wine, you've got the normal wine, you've got the red wine, which is delicious. The green wine is delicious. Wine is delicious and cheap. In some cases, it's cheaper than water, and I'm not lying. Food, yes, food is amazing in some places, but some food I wouldn't touch with a barge pole. Sorry, Portuguese people, but there's some English food I wouldn't touch with a barge pole either. If the fish has its head on it, I'm not touching it. I'm sorry, I'm just too English with certain foods. So if it's too much of an animal and it's looking at me, Can't do it. No. But yeah, food is delicious, and restaurant, if you stay up the tourist areas then and find yourself a really nice Portuguese restaurant, then yeah, it's super tasty and really affordable. Accessibility and travel. Well, yeah, like I said previously, you can get anywhere when you live in Portugal, really. You can drive into northern Spain. I live in the north, I can drive into northern Spain really quickly. I can drive into Madrid in, 5 hours? So I have done a trip to the south of, Spain in the winter time to get away from Portugal, and that was nice. You've got cheap flights coming in and out of Europe. You've got international flights coming in and out of kind of the US, Canada, and everywhere else. So yes, you can get in and out of Portugal super duper quickly and reasonably priced. So it's all good. Portugal has a strong expat community. Do I agree with that? In some cases, yes, and in some cases, no. There are areas, obviously, where the kind of expat community is huge, just like in the Algarve. So yeah, there are areas of Portugal where the expat community is massive. So you've got the Algarve, you have Lisbon now, you've got Cascais, obviously. And in Porto there's a huge expat community too. You can find people online, but it is difficult to make long-term friends here because expats come and go. A lot of people come over thinking that they're going to live here permanently, but they end up kind of dealing with Portuguese bureaucracy and not really falling into the relaxed way of life. They want to change Portugal, and that's not the way it is. Portugal changes you, you don't change it. So you have to get into the vibe of Portugal to kind of just deal with how things are here. So but yeah, getting back to the expat community, sometimes it's hard because people come and go. I mean, I've moved from the Algarve, I've moved from Lisbon. In Lisbon I was there for 7-8 years, but then COVID hit and my life kind of blew up, so everything changed at COVID, so I decided that I would move north and renovate this house. But yes, I mean, it can be difficult, it can be hard. You just have to really put in the effort, and it's the kind of thing you have to keep going. You have to keep putting in the effort to find a group of friends, because like I say, people come and go. People might even be staying here for just 8 months to a year anyway. Maybe they're studying at the university or something like that. So yeah, finding a solid group of friends with actual roots in Portugal is harder than you think. I think in the Algarve it's easier because people, expats tend to migrate there and stay there long term. But in the rest of Portugal it has been tough, and COVID changed a lot of things for a lot of people, and a lot of people went home, which is understandable at COVID, and didn't come back. In terms of making friends with Portuguese people, I did have Portuguese friends in Lisbon, but they had lived outside of Lisbon. They'd lived in London and then they had moved back, but we met here. We didn't actually meet in London, so they had a similar mindset, a kind of similar expat mindset mentality, so it's a lot easier to meet people like that. Meeting Portuguese people that have never left Portugal and becoming friends with them is tough, because they have their friends that they went to school with, that they went to university with, that they knew from kind of being a young person, so they have their clique and they don't tend to move out of that clique that much. And having spoken to a lot of Portuguese people that have actually moved areas in Portugal, they also find it tough to meet a clique of Portuguese friends. So it's not just us, it's not just expats dealing with that situation, it's locals too. So let's talk about bureaucracy. It's a nightmare and you just have to deal with it. So a lot of expats come over and get really frustrated with how slow things is. how slow things are, how people that work in positions in the council really don't care. I mean, I find it funny now, but at the start, yeah, it's frustrating when you have to deal with it, and they obviously don't give a shit. It's frustrating, but like you just kind of have to lean into it and kind of just deal with it. If, let's say for instance, you ordered a washing machine and they said they're going to deliver between kind of 9 and 1, you shouldn't really be trusting their word on that, because they're probably going to deliver it at 6 o'clock at night or later. So just plan things out a long time. Don't believe what they say, because most of the time it's not true. Just take your time, be relaxed about it, just deal with it, because nothing you can do is going to change it unless you've got lots of money to take them to court, because that's the only situation that's going to change people's attitude, and that is super expensive. So like I said before, you either lean into it or you get super frustrated and super irate, and then living in Portugal isn't that much fun anymore. So my advice is just to chillax, be thankful when it arrives, or when the person that you're dealing with at the council has finally got round to it. Do a little yay, they did it dance, and then move on. But you can't push them to go any faster, because if you try and do that, they're going to get their back up, and then they're just not going to do anything for you. That's just some people's attitude here, unfortunately. But anyway, in conclusion, living in Portugal is great, but it's tough. It's not, you're not on holiday all the time, you are living here. It can be difficult, and you are an outsider, and there are, obviously, you're an expat, you're an immigrant, and there are people here that like to remind you that you're an immigrant. So there are people that you come up to, that you will deal with over your time here, that will make you feel like shit, will make you feel like crap, because that's just what they want to do. They just want to make people feel like crap. And I have noticed that has increased since Shager came on the scene in 2016, 2017. And obviously the cost of living crisis has caused more problems, because I've found that a lot of the expat community live in a bubble, and they don't really understand Portuguese life. They don't understand how tough it is for some people. If Portuguese people are protesting in the street, don't be that person that was on a group chat that was like, how dare they do this? Don't they know that they're getting in my way? All this noise outside my house, like it's really annoying me. Just don't be that kind of expat. If people are protesting, they're protesting for a reason. And if you're Portuguese, there's a lot of reasons to protest. Cost of living being one of the biggest, the cost of rents being one of the biggest. So just don't be that person, and don't be the person that goes onto Facebook and says that Portuguese people on an average Portuguese wage shouldn't have a right to live in central Porto or central Lisbon, because foreigners should come here and bring their outside money and be able to afford all the apartments in central Lisbon or central Porto. Just don't be that person, because in the end of the day, you're causing problems for the rest of us, because I can't stand you, Portuguese can't. I can't stand that attitude, Portuguese can't stand that attitude, and it just gives people that support Shager more ammo to use against us. So just bear in mind that there is a far right in Portugal, and they are called Shager, and they have risen in popularity quite a lot over the last, 8 years? 10 years? If you're planning on coming over here, just make yourself aware of Portuguese life, and not middle class, upper class people that you're renting your houses off, because they're wealthy people. just be aware of the people on lower wages and how difficult it is for them. Anyway, in conclusion, Portugal is an amazing place. Portugal is stunning, the weather is amazing, summer times are awesome, winter times can be a little bit rough, but everyone can't wait for spring to spring into action. So yes, it is a great place. Like I said, it can be tough if you have and don't come over here with the mentality of it needs to run like Northern Europe. Because if you think if you think it needs to run like Northern Europe and you think it needs to run like the US or Canada, you're going to be frustrated, and that's going to affect your experience in Portugal. So just get laid back. Get laid back with the Portuguese attitude.